Good morning. Hello. Hello, Lang. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Yusuf?
I am fine. Thank you so much. Actually, you said my name how it is in Arabic. You said Yousr. Everybody calls me Yousr.
Yeah, Yusra.
Yeah, Yousr.
Yusra. Yeah.
Thank you, Len. First, let me express how honored I am for you to be my guest and for your time and really for accepting the invitation. So thank you so much, Len.
It is my pleasure and it is my honor to accept this interview and to share some of my life experiences, not just the professional experiences, but also personal lives with you. Yeah, I look forward to our conversation all the time.
Oh, thank you so much, Lang. And I'll tell you something, I might have not said this before. I'm a fan of yours. I like painting so much, so I'm following whatever you post on Facebook, especially your paintings, and I look forward and I try to analyze them, sometimes guessing what is the technique, how you did that, and so you're an artist, Lang, beyond being a teacher. So glad to have you, Lang, here.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Lang, I will introduce Dr. Lang. I've been calling you Lang, Lang, Lang. So
Call me Lan, call me Lan, call
no,
me Lan.
no, Dr. Lang.
Yeah.
Dr. Lang, to whoever is watching us, maybe for the first time, is a transnational teacher, research in China, and now is based in the US. She's an associate professor of English at West Virginia State University. She has established and directed an ESL program there, so she might tell us more about the ESL program when it's time. So, Len, welcome to the Ikigai and Kaizen International podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Len. So, I will introduce in a nutshell the podcast idea so that whoever is watching us will understand how it goes. So, there are backstage, things that we do. We don't usually share before. So, we get to know each other if we don't know. So, we talk with chit chats before recording. And the Ikigai and Kaizen podcast, I will tell a little bit why I did choose this name. So I'm someone who's fond of doing many things in life. And I've always been in a journey of discovering my true self, let's say. So it all started during the lockdown. And rarely could we go out, but I needed to talk to friends. I needed to talk to people, not just teaching my students. So the whole idea started with a friend of mine who is a coach. So, and at that time, I was taking something called the Ikigai coaching. And I was just chit-chatting with my friend and showed him something, the idea of the podcast. And I was fond of drawing. So I had the idea of drawing a lotus flower. And I noticed that
Okay.
the lotus flower itself had that, many aspects with the, at that time, it was Venn diagram with Ikigai. So I was introduced to Ikigai that particular way. I looked up for the definition and then my friend told me, why don't you talk to people about this? The experience, how it goes. So I told him, you're going to be the first victim. So I got the first recording with that friend. And then, little by little, I was approached by people wanting to tell their stories. So it came up really naturally, sharing my own story. And then naturally, people started to do the same. So I kept it within the TESOL field, honestly, because I think as teachers, we do our best for our students, for others. But sometimes we can forget about ourselves. Sometimes we leave ourselves behind.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we might have hobbies and interests, time for our close ones, but I want it like a free space for colleagues to share everything about themselves, things that people don't usually know about them. So this is how it came up with the Ikigai and Kaizen. The terms were really, spontaneous. It was not something that I wanted exactly to choose a name which is foreign to English, but I'm so proud of this, diversity aspect, of this multicultural aspect because the podcast includes people from around the world. Now I'll stop talking about the podcast and I will say why Lang has been, selected and identified as an honored guest at this podcast. So
I'm interested in knowing why you decided to choose me. Yeah.
I will tell you. I was looking for that extra factor. I always look for the authenticity of the person. To what extent, the guest can be himself or herself or themselves, expressing themselves, freely first, without any masks, without any, being a true self is really rare in this world. And I noticed that aspect of self-expression in everything, like in the way you talk, in the way you present in the Tesol field, in the way you share your paintings, and that artistic, touch that you have, and how approachable you can be, how kind you can be. So made it really easy to be a guest. It doesn't really take, being, I don't know how to explain this. It takes only to be a real human being to be a guest in this podcast. So, and thank you for accepting the invitation. I'm really honored.
Yeah, I think what you just said, it's very true about myself. I noticed that a lot of professionals, even though they use Facebook, they don't post a lot of their personal aspect of lives. I think that Facebook is a venue for me to express myself. It's not just a venue for me to, because everybody knows that you're in the TESOL field, you're in the language teaching field. So I want to know, I want people to see the different aspect of myself, not just the teaching aspect. So it's a place for me to showcase, to showcase myself. So that's whenever I have any ideas or I did something, I think that is it's fun. Then I just share on that Facebook page. Yeah.
And it really inspires many, at least myself. So I express myself in this. I'm sure a lot of friends, I saw comments, on your posts, and everybody really, sometimes they're awaiting your next post, your next painting, and they're wondering, they're asking questions, especially with cats. I'm a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. The cat is I painted some paintings, and I usually include a cat, a black cat, in it. But the painting is usually a historical one. Van Gogh's, well-known painters, artists, and I include a cat in it. So not every single one has a cat, but occasionally the cat will appear. So some people ask me, "Where's the cat?" Yeah, you're true. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Lang? If you're including a cat, is there a reason why you're including a cat, and a black cat more specifically in your opinion, or is it just because you love cats?
I actually love dogs. Cats is just a cute thing. Cats are quiet. So usually if they're in the painting, they won't interrupt the painting, the whole, idea of what the painting wants to express. So I can include a cat, and it's for fun. I like a fun element. Yeah. So there's no specific reason. Usually the cats appear in a well-known painting, not the regular painting. So
yes. Yes. I asked you this because cats, in ancient civilizations like the Egyptian civilization, so cats, they were considered as a source of wisdom, sometimes as a source of knowledge. So it depends on the culture and how cats can be represented. In other cultures, a black cat can be I'm sorry to say this, a bad omen
Right,
sometimes. Yeah.
right.
So, but
Yeah.
for other cultures, it's a good omen. It's like a good something, appreciative. So, so post please more of cats in Van Goghs because I like Van Gogh myself. I've been experimenting with Van Gogh's paintings myself with AI.
Also, black cat, it's easier to paint, than other patterns. The fur patterns would be hard for me. So black is easier. So, and also it's visible, very easy to be seen. So that's why I usually include a black cat.
Good technique. I didn't think about this. Maybe blending the colors would be easy. And
Right.
talking about your paintings, Len, I'd like to start by talking about Lan the artist. How did it all start? Let's say, is art something which is part of your daily life, Lan?
Not really. I would like to say that I am passionate about all sort of art forms, not just the painting, crafts, sculptures, ceramics. When I was young, I already had an interest in drawing, painting, and I was an active member to, participate in different types of art shows that my school usually held. So I had the interest in painting when I was young. And then, when you went to school, you became a teacher, and your schedule is usually very busy. And every single semester for me is a hectic. So I am always busy. So I think that painting to some degree is really helps me to reduce my stress. For me, it's very therapeutic. When I first moved to the city where I am in now, I heard there was a program, like a workshop program to the community, so you can go there to paint. They offer different types of paintings and you can join them. So I went there for a couple of times. And then starting from 2018, I think, 2018 or 2019, I think it's also about lockdown, so you were not able to go anywhere. And so I decided to maybe I can learn painting through uh, online, So I watched some YouTube videos and I started painting. Um, so that's how I started. I don't think that it's part of my life, but I realize how important it is, not to my teaching, okay, but to myself, like a well-being. It helps me to feel happy for sure. And I feel that while painting, I was able to concentrate on, the process, the colors. So it's really helped me to reduce my stress. And as I am getting older, I was thinking that maybe painting can be one of my hobbies after my retirement. So I started preparing for my retirement, but it will be some 10 more years later. But I think that I should begin, as you said, what a reason to live. I think sometimes I need to do something to please myself, to make myself feel good, instead of just, like you said earlier, working, doing things for others. I think sometimes I should think of my own feelings. So that's how I started painting. I think it's a one easy way for me to take care of myself.
So I'll ask you a question before moving on to the next question, and still within arts, Lang. You got me an idea, which is the following. So you talked about your feelings while you paint, Lang. What are the
Right.
feelings that painting triggers in Lang's persona? What do you feel when you paint? You said it's therapeutic, but
when I was painting, when I have time, I always want to paint. This is for true. When I was painting, I think that I really forgot everything but painting itself, So fully absorbed in the process of painting, focusing on the strokes, focusing on the color combination, so I think that it's no longer, I no longer thought about the things that I need to take care of. So it gave me a tranquil moment so that I can be myself. So that if you ask me what I was thinking, what was the feeling, I think this is the feeling, and I think that I need that moment a lot. Yeah.
thank you for sharing, Lang. And if ever, Lang, you take some of those feelings maybe and you take them in your classroom, if you might maybe integrate art in TESOL, in teaching English.
I never thought about that, but actually I used some of my paintings in the classroom. For example, this semester, a couple weeks ago, one of the assignments for the writing students was to write a reading response. And I told them that the reading response, it doesn't mean only reading words and then you respond to. It can be different forms of reading. Say you see a sign on the street. What did you feel? What did you want? What was your response? If you see a painting, what was your response? If you see a cartoon, so I had several examples, and some of the examples are from my paintings. I show some of my paintings and I ask them, so when you see this, what did you feel? So I was thinking in what way that I can use some of the artistic aspect into, incorporate these artistic aspects in my teaching. But I don't have a solid idea yet. That would be something that I think of. Maybe you can help me, give me some ideas.
I'll share with you. I tried it once with middle schoolers, and we call that session therapeutic art. So what we did is that students that were listening to a background soft music, and I was kind of guiding them through a meditation similar to the one we had before recording. And then the students, they were invited to draw whatever came to their mind with that version of themselves being in that particular moment. So those who could draw, we provided them with mandalas. So they had to color and then explain this, why they did color that in particular sense. And those who painted, they have to talk about and express themselves how that painting was related to their personas. So it was amazing. And a lot of students, they were creative, as you know, middle schoolers. So please feel free to pick out anything, you esteem relevant and apply it to your context. I would be glad to hear, the outcomes if that valid and applicable in your context, of course.
You reminded me one thing. I teach one course called Introduction to General Linguistics. And one of the, language teaching methods is total physical response, TPR.
Yeah.
So I used painting in that activity. I give the command and my students start painting, use different colors, draw a heart, put a letter, initial, so I did that. It's not just the physical movement, but also you can do a painting using TPR as well. So I think that would be a good method for language teachers to teach children, small kids, so that they can not just the movement, body movement, but also they can use their cognitive ability to draw. So that's one of the things that I actually used. Yeah.
Exactly. And I will, you reminded me with something. I was substituting one of the teachers, one of my colleagues. She was sick and she could not attend at that time to teach her class. It was grade 5 at that time. So, I had one of the friends, admins, jumping into, the teacher's room asking me, Yousra, X or Y is absent. You're going to go and take her class. I did not teach at that time primary school students at all, except for that time. And, I asked first about the previous activities. What did they do previously? They told me, Miss, we had a story, and we're supposed to finish the story by the end of the trimester. At that time, it was kind of not a semester because they were young. So everybody, we had stories to read and then to summarize. I told them, how far did you go into reading those stories? They told me almost done. So I told them, okay, we'll have some moments to finish the story. And then everybody, if you can draw, if you can talk, if you can write, you will summarize the story your own way. And I was surprised. Most of them, they drew.
Oh, okay.
The horror story, we had like a ghost or whatever. So it depends on the story that they have. But it was an exceptional experience, and you reminded me of this. And it was my only first time teaching primary school students. And I enjoyed it. If ever I had to do it again, that would be amazing. So Lang, I know you're an experienced TESOL professional, but I'm curious to know for how many years you've been teaching English?
Oh, it has been more than 20 years, to be honest. Before coming to the United States, I already had 8.5 years teaching experience back in China at the university. And then one day I asked myself, do you want to improve your English because you've never been to an English speaking country? And I was about 30 years old already. And then I was thinking, if I don't take advantage of the opportunity, I probably won't have the motivation to study abroad. So I decided to come to study in the United States. I got my master's certificate in English pedagogy, but I was not very confident coming to become a doctoral student. So I applied for a master's program first, and I was accepted, and I got my master's here in the US, and then I got my doctorate in the United States as well. So, and then I found a job first at Western New York, SUNY Fredonia, and I taught over there for about 3 years. And then 10 years ago, I came to West Virginia State University because I was hired to run a brand new English as a second language program. So that's how I end up being living in West Virginia. So adding all of the years, I have over 20 years transnational language teaching experience.
And how important is teaching in your life, Lang? How important?
I've never thought about, if not teaching, what I can do for a living, to be honest. To be a teacher, it's more like, my parents, they were university professors, but they were professors of education. So growing up in a traditional educator's family, being a teacher seemed a predictable path for me. I've never thought about what I should be doing if not a teacher. Plus, in most of the Chinese people's eyes, being an educated female to be a teacher is very ideal, and it's a prestigious job. So and also if you teach at a university, university professor, you seem to earn more reputation and esteem. So I just stay on the same path as my parents did, following their legacy. So I became a teacher. But the difference is that I chose to learn English and to become an English teacher. So it's mainly because in the mid 80s, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with the open door policy. It is a policy for economic reformation. So most of the Chinese people were eager to know what the outside world was. So learning English seems a tool, a bridge for them to be able to know the outside world. And I was one of them. So I decided to major in English and started learning English at the college. So that's how I started being an English teacher. And then coming to the United States, you asked me one question earlier, the important transition. Yes. That is, I think, from China to move to the U.S. as an international student first. I got my master's and Ph.D. here in the U.S., and then I established my academic career in the U.S. or continue my academic career in the U.S. So it is a huge transition and a change, but it's a great impact on me in a positive way. So you asked me if not teaching, what would be doing? I never thought about that. I think it's doomed to be a teacher.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess you love this and you love doing this so much. But I will ask you a few questions, Len, and we'll see. Maybe during this interview today, we'll have some insights into other, you already know your skills. But I'll ask you another question, Len. Apart from teaching, apart from painting, do you consider yourself, being skilled in other things, in life? So take a moment, please, to think about what aspects Lang can be helpful to others, maybe to herself. And maybe this does not have to be a professional necessarily.
Okay.
So are they any...
Well, I'm a native speaker of Chinese. I think language is my skill. If not teaching, I think I could be a Chinese language teacher as well. And actually, when I was a master's student and doctoral student, I did teach Chinese. And then also, I think language is a skill that I can survive. And also entailed from my bilingual experience and the skills, I could be a Chinese English interpreter. And actually, I did some professional interpretations when I was in China at the university because I interpreted or translated at some conferences, presentations, workshops for the university. And I visited European countries 2 times as an interpreter for my university with other faculty members, chairs, deans. I was the translator, interpreter. When some overseas schools visited my university in China, I was there to help translating. So I think that could be one skill, interpreting skill. I can share with you. There is a local library very close to where I live. Okay, and a couple of times when passing that library, I was thinking maybe one day, if I'm not teaching, I can apply for a job to be there, either a part-time job or a volunteer to work over there, because I did some crafts over there as well. So I like the atmosphere, quiet. People are very nice. And I think that maybe I can do something for the local library one day. So that's also, in my mind. Yeah.
That's amazing. And actually, I'm not surprised to hear this, knowing your personality, knowing how generous you are. And the next question, Lang, is Lang as a learner and Len as a teacher, what was the impact of the Chinese culture on your profile, let's say on yourself as a learner of the English language? And do you see it as same or different now as a teacher of the English language? So are there any aspects of the culture that you include, or maybe that inspired you to learn the language?
Mm, I think the social cultural context influenced me to learn English. To be honest, as I said, open door policy, and people were eager to know what's going on outside China. So the social context influenced me to decided to learn English for one reason, and some other reasons. I believe that. English is just a tool. It's a lingua franca, right? So people use English to communicate for that purpose.
Yeah.
So if I can speak English, I can use English to maybe to let people know more about China and the Chinese culture. I I teach English, but sometimes I do introduce some culture-related elements in my teaching. So to let people know that, say my students, American students, let them know that, we're living in a globalized society world, and English is not just the language. There are so many languages and diversity, inclusiveness. So I occasionally introduce Chinese culture to my students. I introduce what would be the Chinese college life look like. What are the Chinese college students doing at home? What are some differences? I even had some ideas to give. I have some friends who teach English back in China as well. We were actually talking about the collaboration, doing some research projects, say, give them the same topic and let Chinese students and American students do and compare to see whether, people from different cultures and language environment, they would have different opinions regarding the same thing. So that is all in my mind. And we actually had several conversations about the possibility of doing a research project in this regard. Yeah.
Please include me in this project, because that's what I'm actually doing for research. I'm doing a comparative
Okay.
for learning.
Yeah, we'll think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really admire that so much, and I love the idea to explore how different people they're learning language, not necessarily English, but around the world. But most specifically, I'm focusing on English. So I'll tell you the influence of the Chinese culture on me as Yousra.
Okay.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. I might be getting this as, but yes, I like to celebrate the Chinese New Year. This is
okay.
And then I love Tai Chi so much. So I learned the practice Tai Chi, and I included this in my class in 2018 when I was teaching at that time. So my students, they had to go through meditation sometimes, from yoga. We did this as workshops. Tai Chi was included. I liked that Tai Chi represented like it's a kind of an energy in motion. And I was introduced to Tai Chi in Tunis. I usually go for a walk in a place where people just practice sport, they dance, they sing, they do whatever they want. So on that particular day, I noticed a group of people, they were just practicing something new to me, all the hand gestures.
Yeah, the movement, yeah.
The movement and the energy, whatever. So, and there was a doctor coming from China at that time, and together with his son, they were teaching acupuncture, to Tunisian.
Okay. Yeah.
And still, I'm looking for the doctor. If ever he will be watching my podcast, he still lives in Tunis. I would love to have a session with him on acupuncture. So I watch, but I still didn't make it to go to China. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But
China. Yeah.
I love the organization in China and how Chinese people, Japanese, Asia particularly has a place in my heart, and I love that aspect, politeness, organization, courtesy, everything related to so you will notice basically, Lan, that most of my previous guests and upcoming ones, they're from that region, and even the topic is Japanese. So I don't know, maybe I'm meant to live elsewhere one day, I don't know. but still I'm exploring that area now. So the impact of the Chinese culture, as you said, we're global citizens, and we share a lot of things, among them respect and culture exchange. So
Right, exactly.
I'd love to hear more about your project.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Lang, asking about now your career, I've asked you about your paintings. Now I will ask you how Lang sees her progress in life, the evolution. Did it happen, all at once, or was it like step by step? Was it planned, or was it you got a few things by chance? So, how Lan perceives improvement and progress?
I think one of the things that most Chinese people possess is hardworking, diligence, and I do believe I have that value, and I care about myself, care about my professional development as a teacher. So I always try to see whether I still have a potential to reach the next level. So I try to prepare myself in order to seize the opportunity once it comes. So, for example, right now I'm ready to get a full professor promotion, and I have all the required materials ready. I guess that is a step by step, preparation. It's not just the one step thing, So I always prepare myself for the next opportunity, and worked really hard. So that, I think, it's some of the things I always bear in mind. You asked me the question earlier. When you wake up, what are some things that you anticipate? Do you have a to-do list? Yes, every day I have a to-do list. That's also one of the things that I think I should slow down, a little bit, instead of checking the to-do list. When I go to bed, okay, I was thinking of what I have done, what I still need to do, and when I wake up, the same thing, what I need to do. So sometimes I told myself I need to slow down. I need to care more about my quality sleep, spend more time with family, friends, or just relax. But still, once you are in this field, in your career, you always want to try your best to reach your potential. So that's why, I I think right now, try to improve my teaching effectiveness, to continue doing research, service, and also presenting at conferences. Those are the routine in my daily life already. So I believe that the next goal is to be a full professor, and I'm ready for that.
Best of luck, and I'll look forward to the announcement on social media. And I congratulate you in advance for this. You deserve it, and it's really very obvious the integrity you show from everything, the discipline, self-discipline especially. And if I might ask you, maybe if you allow me to, on a scale from 1 to 10, if you kind of evaluate yourself and how self-disciplined you are, Lang, let's say from 1 to 10, What can be kind of the value of this?
Oh, self-discipline. And I would say 8. I would say 8. A couple years ago, I think I had an issue I realized is a procrastination. It's not just the students always say they have a procrastination issues. I think I have that as well, especially during the past several years. I I worried about the things, but I just couldn't do it. Why? I just didn't know why. But I talked with some of my friends, and they told me that one reason is because you are afraid of doing so. And the second is that you always try to find the chunk of time to work on it, but try to use the fragment. Try to use the small fragment of time to work on that. So I took their advice and I overcome I think I overcame very well the no longer worry about the things. Once I decided to do, I just put my energy and the time working on it. And also I started using the small fragment of time, small, even just the 15-20 minutes. I think it could help me to reach a lot. Like I can show you one example.
Yes,
I was busy, I had a to-do list yesterday. I prepare for this coming Thursday. I will be doing a faculty lecture at the school, and I need to prepare for that. And also, I was invited to join a Tesol presentation to finish an abstract within an hour. So I was very busy, and plus I knew that there would be this interview for today, but I still decided to spend 15 minutes, to relax. So I'm not sure whether you can see this.
Oh yeah.
I used a small frame, and I framed a fern, to please myself. And this brings to me happiness and relaxed, So I just think that sometimes I need to do something that to please ourselves and to relax a little bit, instead of thinking of the to-do list. Yeah, you have to, but you also need to learn to use time effectively. When people say, I don't have time, yeah, true, they don't have time, but sometimes they probably can use time more effectively. And then it can be very productive as well. So that's how I think I try to overcome some of the procrastination issues and to try to be more effective. Use the fragment of time. It's really, really helpful. Yeah.
If ever, Lang, you have to paint a painting, and that painting should represent time. How can you see it? How can you envision this painting to be?
Can you tell me more? I don't quite understand the question.
If ever you would describe time in a painting, if you represent the value of time in a let's say in a visual format, be it a paint culture. But since you paint, if you visualize time as in terms of metrics or in terms of, I don't know, value, how would you perceive time in a painting? How'd you paint it?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not quite sure whether I understand the question, but I think that the painting is not a waste of time, to be honest.
No.
It's meditation.
Misunderstood my question. I'll explain it again. I'll reframe my question. For instance, the metaphor of the cat, or the metaphor of, just like, how can I call this? The artifacts that we use in paintings. If ever, you went to a workshop, and in this workshop, everyone was supposed to represent the value of happiness, the value of time, the value of discipline. So, and everybody was supposed to paint something representative of that. For you, Lang, how would you give that time a visual representation?
Yeah. I think it would be flower, light color flowers, when you ask me, the first, thing popped in my mind is light color flowers, huge petals. I don't know why. I just think it would be the thing that I wanted to paint, or maybe several fish, swimming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think fish is beautiful. They move. They are quiet and they move. The movement, their body shape, all beautiful things. So I probably will paint flowers or several fish. Yeah, to use the time. Yeah.
I will try to interpret a little bit, but I don't want to assume. So let's
Yeah.
say the bouquet of flower may represent how prolific you see time. And you see it as something blooming, something, exponential to you. So the more you use time, the more you'll be having time. So it depends on how you perceive time, of course. And for fish, that fluidity. For time, might be for you, it's still you deal with time in terms of numbers, but
Okay.
drawing that in a fish format and many, so you have that diversity, in your mindset in both descriptions. What I find in common is that many, for first flower, many in a bouquet, and a herd of fish. So I can understand. So this is just for me, I'm doing, kind of an attempt to understand what can be this representative of. But while hearing you saying this, I might understand that this person sees time as something fluid, ongoing,
Yeah.
prolific, and maybe.
I think you interpreted very well. Yeah, you interpreted very well. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. So, Leng, I don't want to waste your time. So, the last question for today will be with all the achievements that you have and all the milestones, Len, you mentioned something really important, which is being the professor a position that you're going to get it really. You've been preparing this for so long. So, apart from that objective, Len, and while meditating, did you have something in mind about that your future self? How do you envision yourself living your future life in the upcoming years?
Again, I think I will try my best to be a best teacher, and this is always I want to maintain. Try my best. Help students for sure. And then I also think that as you are getting older, you tend to focus a little more about yourself's feelings. So I think I may need to balance life and work well. Do something to cater myself, please myself, slow down a little bit. I may not be able to, because I told myself this all the time, but I've never slowed down. So I think maybe to do a little bit more beyond the schoolwork, say join some of the community things. I actually participated some, but not enough as I expected. I may spend more time, say, doing some volunteer jobs, going to concert. There are some concerts, going to some of the shows. I always wanted to go, but never had the time to go. So I think it's more like a balancing life and work in a healthy manner, just as what the Ikigai promotes, reason to live, purpose of life. There are many purposes that we can think of instead of just what you are doing,
Wow.
right now. So yeah, so those are the things. And maybe spend more time working on art. I enjoy different sorts of arts. This semester, I'm taking a printmaking class at the school. Yeah, so it's enjoyable. I took some ceramic classes, black and white. I was in the lab doing the film development. I like those things. So I try to balance life, but I think I should have spent more time uh, thinking of myself. Yeah. So those are the things I vision in 5 years. And 10 years, it would be the same, traveling more. The only time that I have would be a summer break, winter break. I try to do some small trips, not a long trip, except for going back to China. So maybe go to Tunisia, one day.
You'll be my guest.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, to see the outside world.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, you triggered a lot of things, Lang, but I'll make sure it's really very quick. You talked about work, balance, work and life. If that was a percentage of 100%, how do you see your actual state, work and personal life? Let's say fun, recreational activities, family time. If in terms of balance now, how is it? 70% work?
80 times for work and 20% for life. Definitely, yeah.
What would be?
I think I want to shift more like a 70-60 for work and 40 for life. That would be ideal. But right now, definitely 80 plus percent. I do have some friends here that we take pictures together when the season changes, or when somebody found a good place to take pictures. We just got together and had fun. But I really wanted I have a more time doing this type of activities, spending more quality time with my family, spend the time with my dog. My dog is right here next to me. When you ask me what things that you can touch, yeah, what things that you can touch, I can touch my dog. He is right here. Yeah, so those are the things. 80% right now working for sure, more than 80. I think I should, give personal life more percentage. Right? Percentage of time. Yeah.
That was my next question. What would you give as a next value if you would ever make let's say a much more meaningful and balanced life? So, talking about art, talking about family, talking about your paintings and the ceramic workshop that you're taking, and Van Gogh more specifically, because I think my algorithm in Facebook caught yours because I was experimenting with Van Gogh with AI. I don't know if you noticed this in my profile. So I take paintings, like Van Gogh, like Klimt, and I prompt, AI image creators so that to experiment with those paintings. If ever, Len, you would be doing so, you'd be integrating AI into your art. Would you be interested first in doing this? If yes, how would you integrate AI with your art?
Honestly, I trust people more than machine. AI is powerful for sure. AI is powerful and it's magnificent, and the effect AI produces would be fantastic for sure. But I don't know. I think maybe to change the color. Sometimes when a human paint, the color is not that bright, not that brilliant. Maybe you can create some of the colors that we don't usually be able to use or create or blend ourselves. Maybe AI can create some. I think it's more like a powerful atmosphere that AI can create instead of hand make thing. I like Van Gogh. You mentioned about Van Gogh. I like it's mainly because of the color and the power is is conveys. Yeah, the color, the bright yellow color, bright color. Those make me feel joyful, and also I like the patterns, and it's very strong. I like those things. That's why he's my favorite painters. One of the favorite painters. AI, I think it would make it even more stronger. But for me, I prefer,
human.
You really like a paint instead of using machine to paint.
Yeah, exactly. The human aspect should be there. It's different from if you paint something, you put all your heart and soul, pure heart and soul.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Just prompting the machine to do it. But I just had fun, teaching digital storytelling through arts. I used all those paintings with students who cannot draw. For instance, they can use AI. So to generate, a story using pictures, and then we animate them, and we got like short videos of that,
right,
of fairy tales. They had to reimagine some fairy tales, like stories like Alice in Wonderland, like the Little Red Riding Hood, and it all was that done through AI, and I really enjoyed it. And I had even invitations from friends asking me to teach them, to show them how they can integrate this into their class. Using reinventing stories again with AI, and I thought,
good idea.
Reading a book, I don't know. So
it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Student will enjoy for sure. Using AI to do some creation. I think I should think of that to integrate in my class as well.
Yeah. Please share the results whatever you do. So thank you so much, Lang. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ideas, your insights. Thanks for everything you've shared with me today. And before wrapping up today's podcast episode, which is the fourth one in the third season from the IKIGAI and KaiZen Podcast, so I will let you say and add anything you want to add, Lang, before we wrap up. The floor is yours.
Okay. I appreciate this opportunity to think of myself, my teaching, my life, how to balance life with work. And I appreciate the meditation that you offered before our interview. I think all of these questions and the meditation helped me, relax, really. And I could vision better myself in 5-10 years. And I will try my best to, be a good teacher and, of course, be a good person. And I would say that, the world needs languages. The world needs language teachers, but the world also needs art. And I'm glad that I found a hobby that can help me, balance my life. So I really think that I should continue doing so. And I don't know whether you got to know or not that I became an art association member.
I saw.
I'm not a professional, but being accepted by a very professional organization, it meant a lot to me. So I was pretty happy about that.
Happy for you.
And I know that we're going to have a Thanksgiving very soon. I don't know whether in your country you're celebrating it or it's just a North American thing. I painted this.
I saw it.
So I hope everybody, if you celebrate, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving break.
Yeah,
That's
we,
what I
we
want to
do.
share with everyone.
We do celebrate at international institutions in Tunisia. We do celebrate. And as a teacher, I
Okay.
integrate some of the American aspects in my course. So I might be celebrating the same Thanksgiving, and I will share any ideas with you if we'll do it. But definitely, we're not going to paint, but maybe, who knows? I'll think about how we should celebrate. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, and thanks.
Thank you.
This is my wholeheartedly, my hearty gratitude to you, Lang, for being my guest. And again, Lan, please be who you are. You inspire many just by being yourself. And I look forward to collaboration, to seeing you in person, maybe not just collaborate, to meet
Right.
at a conference and maybe just for enjoy a cup of coffee,
Right. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
who knows?
Thank you so very much, Yousra, for inviting me, and I enjoyed talking with you, and looking forward to more opportunities to uh, chat, and have fun.
Thank you so
Okay.
Thank you so much to whoever is watching us. This is the end of the 4th episode of the IKIGAI and KaiZen podcast. Looking forward to seeing you all on the next episode. Tune in, please, and stay blessed and stay safe. Goodbye.
Goodbye.